What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Major Keyz podcast with your host, Zach Wilson, talking to keyboard players about music and life and everything in between. And today, as always, we have a special guest, Mr. Ronnie Bullock.
What's going on, everybody?
We ain't got all that. Budget cuts. What's going on with you, man?
Man, it's good to be here. It's another beautiful day. 2025 has gotten off to a great start.
Dope.
A lot of new relationships. A lot of old ones kind of phasing their way out and making room for the new things.
Glad I made the cut.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. I was so excited to be here with my bro. I got here 2 hours early.
Oh my god. Yeah, we said yeah. Noon okay? Yeah, noon's good. 9:57. I'm in bed. I'm waking up. I'm trying to chill. Whatever. Hey man, I'm about to pull up. I was like, oh wait a second. I'm sure we said noon.
No, we totally did. I saw the 10th on my phone. And I was like, all right, 10 at 10. Like, my brain just ran with that.
At least you said that and, not, you didn't get here, late or something like that. Yeah. I guess I would rather you get here early than, I'm on a schedule.
Right. My mom always said, early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable.
Hey, man, this is good. Hey, man, we here. But man, tell me what we always do. We always start from the top. Tell me how you got started in the music, and then how you got started playing keys.
Yeah, I actually funny story, man. I joined the 6th grade band because I'm not big in stature or anything. I wanted to get out of PE, so I was like, let me join the band. And I actually started playing alto saxophone in the 6th grade band. And, I started playing and I was like, man, this is easy. I can understand this. And, I'm going home putting my horn together before we even get to that lesson. I'm learning how to play the little Sweet Child of Mine lick on the saxophone. And I loved it so much, I actually stuck with it. And I got my degree in classical alto saxophone.
You got your degree in saxophone?
And yeah,
oh, gosh.
Yeah. Shout out Mississippi State. Shout out Dr. Seba. Shout out Dr. Falcone. But that whole time, again, like I said, I got into saxophone because I didn't want to do PE. And while I was very, good at learning the concepts of the saxophone, I never really felt like that was Ronnie, And then it wasn't until sophomore year of college, man, my now roommate and drummer in my original band that I moved here with, shout out Blue Talk, he sat me down and he was like, dude,
Garrett?
you got to listen to this. Huh?
Who? Garrett?
His name is Von Brenner.
Okay.
He's a drummer in Blue Talk. He sat me down and he was like, dude, you got to check out this, it's not cowbells, but it's the pitch bells. He's like, you got to check out this cowbell part in Serpentine Fire. Doot, 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 doot. And I was like, this is what I've been looking for. And so, I went through a whole rabbit hole and discovering Earth, Wind & Fire and Larry Dunn and Maurice White and all those cats. And I started learning how to play Earth, Wind & Fire songs on keys, and I was taking required piano classes and really starting to understand how chords moved along with my theory classes. And I was like, I think this is Ronnie, you know what I mean? I think this is what I've been looking for. I just fell in love with harmony and the music of the 70s, specifically Earth, Wind & Fire, and I ran with that.
Wow. That's crazy. Because, the thing is, I don't really know. This is actually my first time hearing this story.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are on the podcast, and I kind of know the story. I never knew anything about it.
Yeah.
But dog, that's crazy. So, did you know how to play any piano leading up until college at all?
I knew a little bit when I was in 8th grade or so. I was playing piano in just my church worship band, but shout out Patrick Covington, man. I haven't thought of that name in a while because he sat me down and he was like, "You should do this," and he showed me how to play "Jump" by Van Halen, classic. Dun, 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 dun. And that was the first song I learned, and I was like, I want to do this. So what I would do is every Wednesday at church, I would go in there and like the whole week having watched YouTube videos of like somebody playing. Like one of the first songs I learned was "Home Sweet Home" by Motley Crue. Another song I learned, my mom was like, "You got to learn your song" by Elton John. I would like spend the week watching somebody play it on YouTube and then like go to church and get on that piano and like practice that.
Because you didn't have a piano at home.
Right.
Okay, got you.
And I finally like, learned enough and showed enough interest that my mom bought me a Yamaha P95 classic board. And that was what I did. Like I got super into it. I had already been through like, I bought a guitar from Walmart and just I didn't really like take to it. How I was taking the saxophone, and I tried harmonica for a minute, and I still got a couple harmonica chops.
Nice.
But it wasn't until I got my piano that I was like spending hours and hours like just watching people. I wasn't worried. This is an A chord. I wasn't worried about any of that.
Yeah.
I was like just watching their hands and where they were going, and that's how I got started in piano.
Nice. So it seems like you were like the music kind of like was in you. Like you had the desire to do music.
Yeah.
You just didn't know what outlet you needed to do it. Do it in.
It wasn't until years and years later when I tripped on the Serpentine Fire that I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. Like I'm gonna become a keyboard player and play this stuff. And it just took over. It took over so heavy. I don't even play sax no more.
I was about to say, I was like, I've never seen you with the saxophone ever.
I've played like 3 saxophone gigs, maybe 5 in the last 4 years I've been in Atlanta.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So tell me about that transition time from, all right, I'm kind of phasing out of sax and I'm learning to play keys for real, and like making the decision to go all in with it. Did it seem like, oh dang, I'm giving up this other instrument that I've worked so hard for?
No, I think a big part of it was like I didn't have a required etude to learn every week. And I think getting out of that like curriculum kind of made it easy for me to like figure out what I wanted to do. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, again, my saxophone teacher, I could call her right now and she'd pick up the phone and be like, "Ronnie Bullock, like, how are you?" You know? I love that lady, and she was somebody that was like, that wouldn't let me get away with saying I couldn't do something.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "Ronnie, there's only 12 notes. You just haven't played them in this order," you know? And she really taught me how to teach myself. Yeah. But I think getting out of that, I have to have something learned every week, kind of made it easy to not pick it up because I didn't have to anymore. You know what I mean? And it really gave me the mental real estate to figure out what I wanted to do with the knowledge that I gained. And just learning harmony and how chords work was so fascinating to me. And it's still like something I learned today, and you learn like one specific voice and you're like, oh, that's what so-and-so did in this song.
Exactly. Like making that connection. Yeah.
And so that was much more fulfilling for me than a monophonic instrument. You know what I mean?
Fair. So, cool. So you're out of college learning keys. When did you... Okay. So when did you kind of transition into full-time musician then on keys? Or when did you see yourself getting good to be like, all right, I can actually do this, like gig and go out and all that sort of stuff?
I had an original band in college while I was in college, and we were doing pretty okay. And then I graduated. I was working at a barbecue restaurant. Shout out Two Brothers. Shout out Sim. Shout out Barton. And I was doing this Tuesday night gig, this little piano bar, and that was like the first space that I could like, I had something to practice for, and like I was learning, man. I was learning like Teddy Pendergrass songs. I was learning all the Stevie stuff, and just like learning how to sing and play. And those Tuesday nights at Dave's Dark Horse Tavern in Starville, Mississippi, was like my playground to learn all the music that I loved. And I was pretty good at it. And it's not like I had a bunch of bills to pay. Rent was so much cheaper, and is still so much cheaper in Starville. And like I had my car paid off, so I really didn't have crazy. So like technically, I've been paying my bills of music for a long time,
right.
You know, just because I only had like $300 a month I had to come up with, you know. And I was doing that every Tuesday night, and then you know the pandemic hit, and I lost that. So that's when I began to think, okay, how can I like, you know, get into a bigger pond, so to speak? Like, how can I level up and like take this to the next level? And there was a lot of talk going in New Orleans, and I'll be honest, like I'm still intimidated by the level of musicianship in New Orleans. And
a lot of crazy cats.
Like, dude, they're just everywhere. You know, everywhere you turn. There's a lot of talk of Nashville, and I don't know. I see that more as like a studio city, you know, and I was kind of unsure as to where I was gonna go, really. And like, long story short, the reason I'm in Atlanta is because Vaughn's old girlfriend lived in Roswell, and so that's just kind of how it came. So all four of us moved together. I spent everything I had to get over here, and like the months leading up to that, I was like, all right, well, I gotta learn. I gotta like be prepared to enter this, because like in Atlanta, there's everything. Yeah. Like there's all the genres are here. Like it's just a culture explosion, and it's such a beautiful city to be in. And again, like I was like, okay, let me come correct. Like let me make sure I know songs and like know what I'm talking about, you know. And I don't know, man. I think moving to Atlanta was just one of my biggest blessings, and still is, because it was almost like Atlanta was looking for a keyboard player when I showed up. I wasn't immediately in the scene or anything. It took me about a year. But about a year and a half in, like I was working a job at Croc Street Market, just being a line cook. And they had switched me to nights, and I had already was like, hey, I'm starting to like pick up some gigs. Like I can't do the night thing. And a week into my 2 weeks notice, Tyler Neal called me for 3 nights back to back to back. And so then I quit my job a week into my 2 week notice. And I've been full time ever since then.
Gotcha.
I like that was it made me take the leap. And again, like it was like Atlanta was looking for a keyboard player, because right after that, like I'm not like busy. Yeah. But I'm busy enough to where I can like get sleep at night. Yeah. You know what I mean?
For sure. How did Tyler meet you, or how did you meet Tyler?
LA Street Pub.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Fushi, because like the first week I was in Atlanta, you know, the months leading up to moving here, my original band was just like contacting people on Instagram, like, hey, I'm about to move to Atlanta, like, you know, I'd love to meet and hang out. And John Fushi was one of those people because of his group Fushi's Forecast, and he invited me and my brother Garrett to Elliott Street Pub, and it was him and TJ and Edwin. Okay. Shout out to those two people, because those two people were very integral in getting me in the scene and introducing me to the people that I know and love today and still work with on a regular basis. I met like Edwin, TJ, John. I met Noah Sills, Ben Otieno, like all in that night. Yeah. And then like me and Edwin just immediately hit it off. We were talking about Earth, Wind & Fire and Prince, and so it was just like everything connected itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And that's how, well, for context, Tyler Neal is a guitar player and he's a singer. He lives in Atlanta. And that's how we met because we both kind of alternated on that gig.
Yeah.
And we got booked for the gig on the same night. It's like, I think Kenny, who's the percussion, who plays percussion with Tyler, but he also kind of books the bands. We were both there at Northside Tavern on the same night. And it's just like, oh. He's like, all right, well, y'all both play. It's like, whatever. Like, figure it out. Like, I played organ, you played Rhodes, whatever. Switch back and forth. Great time. That was a fun show.
I mean, and I look at that like I gained a new keyboard, bro.
Man, absolutely.
You know what
I was like, man, dog, because I've heard your name.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, hey, we got Ronnie on some of these. You can do the other ones, whatever. And it was that was a good time. Great time. So yeah, man. But that's such an interesting story because I've never just moved and started over. Everything's kind of been like gradual. Because like I'm from Perry, and then I went to school at Kennesaw State, and then like everything just kind of grown from my time there, and then just being in the scene, and then just whatever. But it takes a lot of guts to just get up and be like, hey, I'm gonna do this for real somewhere else, and really spread your wings and grow. What's your opinion on, say, the scene here versus Mississippi, or what part of Mississippi? Starville, is that what you said?
I moved from Starville.
Yeah. How close is that to any of the big cities? Because I've never heard of Starville.
It's 2.5 hours northeast of Jackson. I'm originally from Jackson.
Okay, got you.
And my parents live in Byram, which like the city limits are on our street.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. I went to school, and man, it's wild because Mississippi is like considered the birthplace of America's music, but now like I don't know, music is like not that prominent in Mississippi. And the more I did it, the more I realized like, okay, if I want to like make a living out of this, I'm gonna have to find another home base and to where I can do it more consistently than once a week at this one spot and then a couple of monthly gigs. You know what I mean? I know people that have home bases in Mississippi that do it regularly, but also like they tour, you know, and they get. It's not like all their gigs are in Mississippi, you know. And it's also like, this is kind of a thing about me too. If you play blues, you can get work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I'm just so of the mindset, and it's just a personal thing. Like, I just ran from the blues. You know what I mean? Like the blues is in me, and more, I have been like letting that out and like accessing the blues. But for a long time, man, I ran from that, and so I always kind of felt like, all right, I gotta get out of Mississippi if I want to do this. And like going back to the Earth, Wind and Fire story, I was like, I want to do this, and I want to be like a part of this world. And so when I got here to Atlanta, like, man, it was like you can find anything here in Atlanta. You know, you can go indoor skydiving and then go to like a thrash metal show.
Yeah.
In the same night. Yeah. You know? And it's just everything that is to be found can be found here in Atlanta. And I love that. It's like, it's always something to do. There's always something to learn. And like, it's just a culture explosion. And a fun fact, the population of the metropolitan area of Atlanta is 6 million people, and the population of Mississippi, the state, is 3 million.
Crazy.
So like that's just like kind of give you like a size reference of how huge Atlanta is and how much opportunity there is compared to Mississippi.
Absolutely. What would you say, one, during your transition or during your move, one, what would you have done differently? And two, what do you think is the most important thing for somebody who might be about to make that move? If it's the same thing, then let it be the same thing. Yeah.
What would I have done differently?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. I would have. That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I would have gone to Gallery 992 more.
Oh yeah, nice. Been out on the scene a little bit more.
Yeah, I think a big part of it in my head, I was like, I let the whole, oh, this is too late and I got work in the morning get to me.
I've done that.
I wouldn't have let that taken over so much, because every time I would get, to into one of those spaces, it was always met with positivity. I'm like, man, why did I even make a fuss out of getting here?
Yeah.
Because like you get there and like, this is obviously where I need to be in this moment. I would have said yes to more things like that, regardless of what time they were happening. Just like force myself to be in the spaces I needed to be in. That's what that would have been a big thing I would have done differently. And anybody that is trying to make that move, just be of the understanding that anything that you are trying to do is possible. If you're specifically coming to Atlanta, and just find your bag and run with it, because like there is space for your bag. You know what I mean? There is space for all of it.
What would you say your relationship to music is now versus when you, I'll say, even got started playing keys? I won't say like from the beginning. Well, actually, no. From the beginning, what is your relationship to music now versus like when you started developing an interest in music?
Honestly, man, it can be an unhealthy cycle sometimes, in the sense that I've like thrown all my, gumption into music and like learning and striving for this knowledge. Then you get burnout, and then you're like, all right, I'm burnt out. I need a new thing I can do. Like I've picked up embroidery, just a couple of things, and then like it gets to the point to where you're like, all right, I need to put more time back into my craft, and then you're like, you're feeling fulfilled and you learn a few things, and then it gets to burnout, and then it gets to I need to like just distract myself or like pick up something else, and it kind of goes back and forth. Like obviously, music is the greatest thing ever, and it gets, and now these periods of burnout are much smaller.
Good, yeah.
Now, because like I'm realizing, okay, I can still be musical and just like, let me pick up a bass. Let me like train my voice instead of learning a song or learning chords, and so it kind of goes back and forth. But again, like I started getting into music because I didn't want to do PE.
Yeah.
So it was like the same kind of, oh, let me pick up a new hobby so like I can give myself something to do. And like I said, I learned the Sweet Child of Mine guitar riff on saxophone, and I was like, oh, I'm a bad man. And so I ran with that, and for years, man, it was like this is what I didn't know I was looking for.
Right.
And I get that way from time to time now. I'm like, oh, this is what I didn't know I was looking for. This specific voicing. Like, shout out 13 Sharp 11s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that.
Now, it is interesting, like, the balance that you're talking about, because it could be like, while it's good, you see your calendar, like, man, I got something Tuesday through Saturday.
Yeah.
And then church on Sunday.
Yeah.
Bet, let's run it. And then it's like, dog.
And then it's like, dang, I got something Tuesday through Saturday.
It's like, it's cool. And then, like, on Friday, it's just like, dog, I am tired.
Yeah.
And then like, don't let them all be different types of gigs, and then whatever. Great problem to have if you're an independent working musician.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, there have been some weeks it's like, anything, hello, But also it is interesting. Like you gotta put your mind into something other than because music, while we love it, it's still a job. It's still a job, but also it's like there's still life. There's still friends. There's still a relationship. There's still there's still other things that you can enjoy outside of music, and then that don't even necessarily have to make you money.
Yeah.
As well. It's just, living life. And then, this as a songwriter, I'm like, you got to live life to kind of have something to write about.
Yeah.
So, but no, that's super interesting. Embroidery was not what I thought you were going to say.
Dude, I got nimble fingers.
That's
you should, honestly, as a piano player, you should try it out.
I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
But, because right now my new thing is this DJing thing.
Yeah.
Which is very musical. And I've touched it a few years ago, but like now I'm like, I'm kind of going in. But like I'm not doing it I'm doing it, but I want to do it on my own time. I want to do my own types of sets. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, can you DJ my birthday party? I don't necessarily want to do that.
Yeah.
Now, the bag is straight. It is like I might do it, but it's not. I'm not doing it to do that.
Yeah.
I'm doing it so that I can kind of curate, like, oh man, what would I want to hear in a certain setting? Doing it super, super musical because I already have the musical ear to do it, like transitions and mashups and all that sort of stuff, and just that sort of thing. Instead of like, it is a hobby. Like would I like to make money for it? Yes, but it's not like, oh man, I'm gonna develop this skill set for another stream of income. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great point, because I think something so important as us independent working musicians is like, you have to find that balance to get outside of the craft, and you also like need to learn how and when to say no.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just like how you were saying, like, I don't want to DJ somebody's birthday party, like, unless the money's right. Like, then that's a whole. Then we can get super specific and all that, but like the main thing is like, just know when to say no. Somebody, I can't remember who said it, but he said, like, a great way to, a very polite way to say no is like, the quality of work I would want to put in doesn't reflect the time I have, or something like that. The time that I would have to do it doesn't reflect the quality of work I would want to put in. And like, that's such an important thing to avoid burnout. You know what I mean? I think there's another podcast I heard. It's like, it's either a hell yes or a no.
Yeah.
Or it's not. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
Yeah.
That can be a very hard line to draw for yourself, but it's such an important line to find for yourself to avoid the moments of, I don't want to do this. Why have I put so much time into this and not being rewarded? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Because like, we'll do these gigs, and like you say, the calendar will be filled up, and it's like, man, it's a great month. Especially if you got something like that you're saving up for or whatever. Oh man,
yeah,
I got it. Like, let me go ahead and grab this. Let me go ahead and grab this random Tuesday situation because, like, I wasn't doing anything anyways. But then when you get there, it's just like, dog, I could have not done
this.
I could have not done it. I could have just been at home.
Yeah,
it would have been okay. Like, we've been there. I don't know what type of gigs don't you like? What type of gigs are like? Don't call out anybody specifically, but it's just like the type of gigs that it's like, you know what, man, this is a drag.
It really gets down to a point. If you if the gig is over explained, when it's like, I'm trying to choose my words carefully. When it's like, hey, here is however many songs, you're gonna have to learn them in different keys, and then it's like, what do you mean you want this song in this key? That's a minor key transposed to a key that's in a major key.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. This is my student brain going off. I'm like, if you're having to, like, if I'm getting like, a textbook of information about a gig, man,
there's too many guidelines.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know. I'm such a person that's like, hey, I can show up and I can do it.
Yeah.
Let me do it. You know what I mean? Like, when it gets to like you don't have to put the bumpers on the bowling alley for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it's like, all right, here's this amount of songs. I do them in these keys. And then, like, you learn the keys that they're in, and you get to the rehearsal, and it's like, oh, no, I need it in this key.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, just stuff like that.
Like, specific, but not, like, super. There's a balance between, like, you know, there's a wedding gig where it's kind of, you know, depending on the client, it's kind of specific on, like, what the set list is for the reception, or, like, if you're playing a ceremony, it's very specific. Playing the reception is a little bit more open, but like stylistically, this is the way that we want to go. And if you're playing with the wedding band that you haven't played before, you've got to be specific in the keys or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the set times. This is what we're going to pull from. There's that sort of specificity, and then there's also another specificity, also to maybe people that may not be as musically inclined as us. So it's like they're trying to explain it, but like they kind of, or like they don't understand the parameters in which we're working with this. It's like you're asking for a lot.
Yeah.
Like, every song is a tritone away from the original key. It's just like...
It's like, are you sure?
Like that.
Or did you just want to say tritone?
Or, like, no, not that even that they know it's a tritone. It's just like...
That's what
it's just like, oh, man, like, but, like, I sing it here.
It's
because that's when it gets weird. And then you got those gigs, like, if you're playing with, like, Tyler Neal, he pulls from a specific kind of songbook. But it's just kind of like, hey, whatever. Because you know Tyler will teach you a song on the spot.
Yeah.
And then as long as he knows it, and either you know it or the bass player knows it, then we can get through it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, let's just see what happens sort of vibe.
Like,
so there's a good, like, you know, that's like the spectrum. And then you got the other spectrum. So it's like, hey, we're just going to play. And it's just like, between the five of us, like, we can figure out some songs for an hour and a half. Like, that's like the spectrum of specificity on gigs. And I can understand that.
I think what I was trying to say is, like, I know my vocabulary, so I don't use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's so many gigs where, like, oh, I heard that, you know, dominant 7 chord. I'm like, bro, I didn't play that. You know what I mean? It's like, I heard those 9 chords, like, cool. I didn't play any 9 chords. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's just like when somebody like tries to flex their vocab, and I'm just like, all right, you're wrong, but I'm not gonna say nothing.
Fair.
And it gets that way sometimes when people hire you because they're like, oh, I do this song a major third up, and it's like, no, you don't. You know what I mean?
Tell me about you writing your own music. Your first group, or that I know of, is Blue Talk. But tell me about, man, I want to write my own music and I want to put my own project out. Give me that walk me through that process.
I love writing music, and I've written a lot of songs that have not even seen the light of day. And lately, I've been like challenging myself to write a song or 2 a week. But my main thing, man, is writing lyrics. I like my personal mission that I've just given myself is to, you know, in a sense, carry the torch of writing music that is, like, inspires change. And, like, in the sense that, like, I'm not the type of guy that wants to write a love song or, like, wants to write a breakup song or so to speak. There's other people are doing that. You know what I mean? Somebody's doing it right now. You know what I mean? Probably in the next department. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, I have just given myself a mission. Like, I'm going to go back to Earth, Wind, and Fire because, like, Maurice White's whole philosophy, he called it the concept. And he was like, I want to be a beacon of positivity. And he said, like, in Philip Bailey's autobiography, like, Maurice White's mission was specifically to give the black community something to lean on and, like, uplift and, like, promote change. And you know what I'm saying? And he was so successful in that. And then you start listening to their music and, like, there's lyrics like, you're but a grain of sand, like, calls to action. One of my favorites when in Fire lyrics, he says, there's no limit to all the smiles in life that's in store for you. So it's just a lot of, like, hey, you can turn this into something good, you know? And a lot of the songs that I write, I try to come from that place of, like, hey, you can be your greatest ally, and you can also be your own worst enemy, and it's like your choice. Like it's not my job. It's my job is to do that for me, and like show other people that that's possible. And like the songs that I write, like I just put out a song called "Steer Your Own Horse," and it's a lot. It's exactly that. Like the lyric is for the second pre-chorus. It's like you try to play the victim and you say you're deprived with a shovel to your left, a pile of dirt on the right. You know, so like a lot of the music I write, I try to come from a place of like, hey, like it's your job to like do your work, and that promotes everybody to do their job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, along with it saying of be the change you want to see in the world, and that's my mission that I've given to myself, and just carrying that torch, so to speak, of writing music that promotes change. And a lot of times I'll start with a groove, and I overthink every one of them. You know, a lot of times I'm like, how do I get this chord in there?
Yeah.
And like that's cool. But I find a lot of the simpler songs are the ones that like resonate the most. And a lot of the songs that like have a head bop feel to them will get through to people more, because like I think it's about getting people to like open themselves up, and then like the fifth or sixth time they hear it, they're like, oh, wait, maybe I can like be better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of my philosophy in writing music, is to like make it sink in, like, I love this song, it's catchy, or I love this song, like I can dance to it. And then like, the 9th or 10th time around, you're like, oh, he's actually saying something. Yeah. He's like saying something. And so I have a harder time writing lyrics when I write music. I've got so many random little grooves and chord progressions, but I don't have a lot of verses.
Gotcha.
You know?
But hey, man, it's a challenge, and it seems like you're taking it on to still do it. When you recorded the first Blue Talk project, was it live, or like were you tracking like? And then also give me the name of Blue Talk. Talk to me about that group. Yeah, like where did that come from?
So the original name for Blue Talk. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm gonna say this again. We were like signing up for a battle of the bands, and we didn't have any names, so we just like did a random band name generator.
Yeah.
And the name. I'm going to say this into a microphone on camera. The original name was Hood Baby and the Barnacles. And I was like, let me not.
You should let that sink in. Say it one more time.
I always have to say it twice.
I want there to be like more silence.
Say
it one more time.
The original name was Hood Baby and the Barnacles.
Woo!
Like, I still have to sigh when I say that name, and I always have to say it twice.
That's so weird.
And it was literally just a random band name generator.
You were Hood Baby?
See, and that's the thing. Like, that was the big question too. Is like, who's Hood Baby? Who are the Barnacles? I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe it was always switching off, and I was like, let me not be a group of 4 white males moving to Atlanta called Hood Baby and the Barnacles.
Right.
So like we were racking our brain, and man, you'll get a trip out of this. Blue Talk is an Earth, Wind, and Fire reference. Now December found the love we shared in September. Only Blue Talk and love, remember. So, and like Blue Talk is like,
you're the first person to sing on the podcast like that.
Blue Talk is literally just like the language you're speaking when you're talking with your friends, like how girls would be like, oh, bitch, I did this, or like you call your bro like, what's up, motherfucker, or something like that. Sorry for my language, but it's just like that,
Blue
not
Talk. Okay,
yeah. So it's like that not safe for work language. It's just camaraderie. It's like another word for camaraderie, and like that lyric, only Blue Talk and love, is like such a motto for me. I
like that. That's cool. I never knew what it meant, because like Tyler told me about it. He's like, man, you should listen to Ronnie's band Bullock. And I was like, okay, cool. And like I didn't think about like what it meant or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, like that's dope. That's dope. And so and y'all have an EP out. Remind me of the name of the EP.
Yeah, there's an EP called Surface Level, or it's like a 6-song album. I think.
It's like just I think still kind of an EP.
Yeah, I think it's also under 30 minutes, so I think that is an EP.
Is that the criteria?
Yeah,
under 30 minutes.
I think it is because EP is extended play and then LP is long play.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah, okay.
Longer than 30.
Yeah,
pretty sure. And we're about to put out another EP at 3 songs. Check out the singles. We just released 4 singles over the past 4 or 5 months. Gearing up for our sophomore album. And we're about to release a 3-song EP in the next couple months, and then after that EP, the whole record will come out.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And then tell me about Ronnie Bullock's 5-man trio.
So every Wednesday night, I play at Northside Tavern, and I lead a group called the 5-man trio. And as of right now, it's like a variety cover band. Mm-hmm. Because it's like. I love music, like that's tell. A given, right?
Okay, I didn't. I wasn't picking up on that.
And like I love it so much that I love all kinds of songs. Like I want to do those songs. I don't want to like just stick in this vein of this. I'm like one of the few guys that doesn't play blues music at the blues bar, you know, because I'll be in there like I want to do Teddy Pendergrass, like I want to sing that. And then I'm like, I also want to do like Latin stuff. And then I'm like, I also want to play guitar and like I have a guitar patch on my keyboard because that's
And then take the keyboard off of the stands.
Yeah, like I want to be Jimmy, you know, like because that stuff's cool, you know, and I want to like pay homage to that.
Sometimes you just got to do stuff because it's cool.
Yeah,
like, why not? Oh man, why'd you do that?
It's fun. Like it's fun.
It's fun. It's cool. I think it's cool. I'm gonna try to do it. Sometimes there's no other reason to do things.
Yeah.
Like everything, it is cool to do stuff, mind you, with intention. I think a lot of stuff I think some things deserve more intention and more reasoning to do stuff. Man, why'd you take? It looked fun.
Yeah.
It seemed like a good idea.
But let me do it.
Yeah, but anyway.
And I don't want.
Yeah, you had like Danny Whitanis was there, right?
Yeah, and I met Saunders and Curtis and Will.
Woof.
So we had a trombone choir in there, man.
Trombones, yeah.
And like, I was like, dude, this will never happen again. So why wouldn't I lean into it?
Yeah.
You know, like there's a video. At one point, we were doing Closed Door by Teddy Pendergrass, and it just became like, I was like, all right, drums and trombones. Let's stand tunes this song.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
And like those 4 guys, oh man, I had to like literally get off the stage and just watch, because I was like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't think there should be any limits or any like, you know, cages put up of what I can do or what is possible or what, you know, isn't on the table. I go back to saying like I want it to be a variety act. I want there to be something for everybody. I want to be playing The Letter by Joe Cocker, straight up rock and roll, and then like I want to sing Caught Up in the Rapture. Mm-hmm. So it's like, why can't I?
Amen.
You know, there's no reason I can't. And lately I've been writing a lot more for 5-Man Trio. And my goal behind that music is I'm taking all the songs that are like well received and just like writing my own versions. So like I did it with Higher Ground. We haven't done it live yet, but I don't want to say I ripped it off, but like I put my spin on a song that has that same vibe.
Got you.
And like there's a Blue Talk song called You Gotsta, and it's really just my Tell Me Something Good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like instead of 1-6-2-5, it's 1-6 flat 3-2, and it's like the same rhythm and everything pretty much. It's I'm just like trying to like hone into that because that does well, and like there's no reason I can't. You know what I mean? Everything is everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to I gotta come out. It's just like you said, man. It starts at 10 o'clock, and it was hard when I did it with Tyler. I was just like because I be chilling at like 7, and it's like 9. It's like 8 o'clock. All right, well I gotta start getting ready now.
I make sure to take a 6:30 nap on Wednesdays.
Fair, but now I gotta come out. But cause shout out to 5-Man Trio is gonna have a project out too, like a EP album maybe. Yeah,
we are trying to get a date to do a music video for our song Crazy Taxi. So check that out.
Nice.
We were all up in Kenny's cabin in Helen, just like on a 3-day retreat, and just getting a couple of covers nailed in and just doing videos. And we're like, all right, let's write something. And Alex was like, I want to do this. And I was like, okay, do that.
Yeah, Alex is good people. I just saw him.
That's the best drummer in the world.
Alex is good people, man. He's great.
And the more I've gotten to know him, like, that's a family member.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Cool. We're going to get into some segments that I ask everybody on this podcast. Top three keyboard players that are like legends, and then top 3 keyboard players that like you can call up and you're like, oh man, that's my homie, he's dope, or she's dope. If you want to do more than 3 in each category, then you can.
Okay.
But you got to give me at least 3.
Dude, number 1 is Stevie. I'm gonna say Larry Dunn, and then I'm gonna say somebody like. I'm gonna give you 5 because Ray Charles has got to be in there.
Okay. Yeah.
Like has to. I'm a big fan of people like Joe Sample.
Yeah.
And like Ramsey Lewis type guys.
Yeah.
And then, all right, most slept on keyboard ever is Patrice Rushen.
Love Patrice.
There's my 5.
Yeah.
Stevie. Dang, I already forgot. Stevie,
Larry
Joe
Dunn.
Sample, Larry Dunn, Patrice Rushen, and Ray Charles.
Yeah.
That's a good 5.
Yeah. She's amazing. I feel like I forget how I came across Patrice Rushen. Actually, you know what? You know the Amoeba What's in My Bag videos?
Yeah.
Mark Ronson picked up a Patrice Rushen record.
Oh, dang.
But it wasn't like it wasn't the funky stuff.
Right,
it was like when she was kind of doing more of the jazz sort of things. So I looked that up. And then I found out and then I learned about Forget Me Nots a few, like, I was like, oh man, this is, and then I made the connection. I was like, oh, this is whatever. Because I think like Forget Me Nots is probably like arguably her most popular song. But it's just like, oh man, like no, she is killing just at playing keys.
Dude, she is so
like
underrated.
That's a funky, like cool song, catchy, but like at just playing keys, she is.
And then she would produce it.
Not to be messed with.
Yeah, and then she would produce it.
You saw that video I sent you with the rolling thing?
Yes, I did. And it's her, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, dude, that lady, she's such an inspiration.
Yeah, for sure.
And then like, I'm a big vinyl collector, so I have all of it except for like her first record.
Nice.
And like, a couple of those records, it's Earth, Wind and Fire on there. Like it's Al McKay and Merdine.
Killing.
Which is wild. Just shows you how connected everybody is. And then she would produce that stuff, and you're like, dang, like, that's her. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, she is amazing. Y'all gotta get you some Patrice in your life.
Yeah, man.
I guess top 3 I would know. I remember can I cop out and say Zach?
Ah, man, thank you, bro.
You got to check out his work. I'm sure y'all already have if you're watching this podcast. His new record is phenomenal, and
Thank
he wrote
you,
all of it.
Thank you, man.
That's inspiring stuff.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you copping the because you got the vinyl. Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Somebody else, Ian Klin.
Okay.
He looks just like me, short hair, no glasses, and maybe no beard.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that dude can play anything, and is so humble and such a sweetheart. Like, he'll play laps around me, and it's just like, but he'll talk to me as if like we've known each other for years. And at this point we have, but he's such an incredible person and player that I'm honored to know. And somebody else is Rhett Huffman. He's another one of those guys. It's just like
I've yet to meet him. I know who I've yet to meet him. That
is a guy to know. He is so talented and so hardworking. I actually recently got to go to his home for the first time. He let me borrow a DX7 to do some tracking on. And him and his son were there, and just the way he treats his son, he's so patient and he's so understanding. And like his son like got up, he was like, "Dad, I want to play Hit the Road Jack." You know, and like I have a video of him and his son playing Hit the Road Jack, and it's like the most wholesome thing I've ever witnessed. Like even now, I'm like I want that for myself. You know, he's so kind, and he's so patient, and he's so giving in the sense that like he literally like just like left me in his studio and was like, "You want me to turn anything on? Like I'm gonna go up here and feed my son. Like, do you just hang out here and be a kid in a candy store essentially." And that was to me like that was just such a big gesture, like to have that level of trust, and just want to give and want to share, that wealth was really, really cool to be a part of. That's a good top 3. There are so many blazing keyboardists. I mentioned Santiago earlier. I'm trying to think of Kenny Cool. Kenny Cool works. I met him through Little John because he plays at Hunter Hill, which I need to go back to. I sat in on the first Sunday and I haven't been back since because I'm terrible. I've been like, my goal for this year is to like land a Sunday service gig, and I've gone about 6 or 7 times to Hunter Hill First Baptist, just to listen, and then I was fortunate enough to sit in on a service and just like be next to Kenny while he played. Because my main thing is I love to be over prepared for stuff, and playing underneath the preacher is such a skill. Yeah. Like it goes from like, it's almost like you're scoring somebody talk.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And like I want to learn how to do that. And like I'm learning how to take it to church, blah, blah, blah. But, like, doing that and, like, I don't know, it's so different.
Yeah. But the thing is, because if you didn't grow up in it, I mean, like, it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Just to get the scope of how service goes and all that sort of stuff. But if you could, I think I know like how you break down stuff and how you like dissect things. You'll be able to get it. Like just you just gotta dig into it. It's just gotta be one of those things. You like dedicate yourself to learning. Watching, figuring out what gospel musicians you like, or like you like how they do that stuff, and and then you figure out your own way to do it, man. And then you're gonna be like, "Doc, I know Ronnie Bullock's that white boy's killing that church, man." I'm like, "Yeah, it actually, yeah." So you're going to be one of those guys.
I've been doing, like, my main practice point is just playing talk music. And, like, learning how to make a 65 or a 376 sound like that.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. One more. This is not in the traditional segment thing that I ask everybody. What's your musical goal? Like, what's your big musical goal? Like a big music project that you want to do, or like just in general, just for you in general.
Man, I wanna write these songs that I was telling you about that provoke thought and change. I just want to be Maurice White, pretty much. You know what I mean?
So that's your goalpost.
Yeah,
is like to be like, I get that.
And I want to like just write songs and like have those songs amplified and like connect with people. And like I don't want to settle for something other than that. Like, cause I know I can do it, and like I'm actively doing it. It's just a matter of like sticking to the plan.
I dig it.
You know what I mean? Like, and I have songs that do that for me, and that I feel like are that spot I'm trying to hit. And so now I'm just networking, and it's like and just like showing people that I have that, and trying to get those songs. Cause it's not about me; it's about the songs. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And like, sure, I wrote the songs, but like, I don't know, a lot of the songs, like almost like I pulled them out of the air, like they were given to me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I have a hard time, like, writing that line of, like, I can do this. Like, I'm supposed to do this. And, like, not sounding overconfident. Because, like, there's a place for these songs that are given to me. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I want to be that vessel.
Yeah.
You know?
Got you. Worst gig you've ever had? Or the worst thing that happened to you on a gig?
I was recording the Blue Talk EP in Nashville, bro. And it was a Sunday, and we wrapped it, and we went to Rudy's Jazz Room. You ever been to Rudy's?
Heard of it.
And it was open mic night, and of course, all my friends are like, he plays piano. So tell me why. I can't remember what bar it was, but I was playing the other bar blues over, like, it was like a 12 bar blues and I was playing 16, or like it was 16 bars and I was playing 12. Man, and like the dude was this close to me. He was like, you know, head saxophone player in charge, or whatever you want to call it, HSIC. He was yelling at me. He said, "Get off the stage." He like was screaming at me. Didn't know me from Adam. And it was like you're not supposed to be right there. Get off the stage. Like, get somebody else. Get this guy out of here.
Yikes.
And then, like, you know, somebody else came over and like sat down with me, and he was like, "Hey man, like, you don't have to play full chords. Like, you got a guitar player, you got a bass player. Just play the 3 and the 7." Like, you know, it was like being generous to me.
Yeah.
And was like, you don't have to play loud. You don't have to, you know, play every note in the chord. Like, it was just helping me. And just like, it was like literally the devil and the angel on the shoulder type vibe.
That's crazy.
And I was like, man, like that could have been the moment where I stopped.
Right.
That could have easily been.
Being like, all right, well, y'all don't even hear.
That could have easily been the moment where I was like, man, I'm just going to get an office job.
Yeah.
You know, that was, I still think about that moment. Like, he was just so hateful. Yeah. In that moment. And I was like, cool, man. Like, sorry. Yeah. I mean, people like him are important and vital to growth. Like, and you know, there's the whole like, you can't have good without the bad, or you can't appreciate the good without people like that. Yeah, man, that was the worst memory for me. Whew. I still think about that.
It is rough.
It was rough. I mean, like, yeah, I was playing wrong. Like, yeah, but like, come on. Yeah.
Right. Build your own super group. You can be in this band. You don't have to be, but you have to just build me a band. Okay. Of musicians from wherever you want to. The only caveat is they just have to be alive. You can grab
Okay.
you just have to grab any musicians. Unlimited availability, unlimited budget. That means you can grab D'Angelo if you want to, who never comes outside. You can grab anybody who's, you can grab Verdine if you want to.
Dude.
But whatever band you want to, like rhythm section, you can do horns if you want to.
Yeah.
And backing up whatever vocalist you want to.
Okay.
You can be in this group or not.
I'm gonna have some fun with this. I want Questlove.
Okay.
I want Christian Camp.
Okay, yeah, Chris. Yeah.
Christian Camp is my favorite person ever.
He's great. He's great.
Shout out Christian
Man, when
Camp.
I tell you he saved me on so many gigs because I'm like,
Dude.
dog, I don't know these songs, but he's like, dog, I got you. Yeah.
He knows everything.
He just knows the stuff.
Like even
very
him,
casual.
Even him finding his way through a song sounds like he wrote the song. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Even if he doesn't like, oh yeah.
Shout out Christian Camp.
Christian,
I tell him every time I see him, like that's just my favorite person ever. He's so knowledgeable. He's so patient. All right, so I got those two guys. Who I want on guitar? Is Al McKay still alive?
I don't know who that is.
Al McKay is Earth, Wind and Fire guitar player. I'm gonna have to look that up. If he's alive, Al McKay.
I'll check it out. You keep thinking.
And if Tony Maiden is still alive, I want him on guitar instead. How about that? So there's two options.
Al McKay is alive.
Okay, there we go.
On guitar, and then who else?
I said Tony Maiden. He is the guitar player for Rufus.
Okay.
I think he's still alive too. Who do I want on keys? Man, I would love to be in that band because that's a dope band.
Go ahead, yeah.
Oh, I might say James Poyser though. Cause that.
You know, I met James and Questlove a couple of months ago.
Wow.
Because I went to New York, and I went to the Blue Note when Robert Glasper was doing his residency on the night that James and Questlove and Common were there.
That's killing. Yeah. That's killing. Man, I'm a sucker for female vocalists, so I'm not gonna say Shaka though, because she's amazing and she is my favorite female vocalist. But age is a thing, you know. I'm gonna just say that I'm gonna keep moving. Shaka 30 years ago. How about that? Can I say that? Or does it have to be current?
It's like if this would have happened next week.
If this would
have happened next week. Like this is like current time. Okay. This is current times, yeah.
Man, Samara Joy.
That band was Samara Joy?
That could be crazy.
That's interesting.
That could be crazy.
That's interesting. That band with Samara Joy is interesting.
That could be crazy.
But it's not impossible.
I think that would be.
It's just, the musicians that you chose skew a certain way, I guess.
No,
it seemed like you were going a certain direction musically, and then it's just like, nah, I like that though. That's gonna be. I feel like that would be cool. I feel like it's interesting when people who play primarily a different genre and can't play another genre, but they go to the group that you named is a funk band, essentially,
right?
Essentially,
yeah,
but they have the knowledge of jazz.
I think they could meet. I think Samara could meet.
Yeah, they can meet in the middle. Like, they have the knowledge of jazz, sure. Like, they can all play jazz, but, if you think about them and their whatever, it's like they lend themselves to be like, oh, this is a funk group.
And I think it would sound a lot like The Memory Remains the Same.
That's cool.
Yeah, that'd be like, I'm gonna come up. Yeah. I would like to come up with another, because they could back a blues singer and that would be killing too. Let me come up with one more female singer. Who's current? Who do I listen to? I'm like in this period of life where I'm just not listening to music.
It happens.
You know what I mean? Silence is music. Trying to think of some female vocalists that I've been listening to. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Chaperone fan, but that is not who I would pick.
Interesting.
For that group. Oh man. I'm gonna pull out my phone just a sec. I'm gonna look at some recent. Oh, Doechii would be a great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Behind that band?
Yeah. That could be
That's
sick.
interesting, bro. That's
and
interesting.
Like, maybe them two together. Honestly, bro. Because like
you're onto something. I don't know what you're onto. It's something though. It's a concept.
Or maybe I'm just on something.
All right, man. Last thing. What do you want to leave with the people? Like today, it could be a word of encouragement. It could be a rant. No one's done the rant option yet.
I'm not gonna do the rant. I will just say that you can do more than you think you can.
Expound or keep it. If you want to keep it, you can keep it.
And I'll keep it as, you know, it's only Blue Talk and love. That's really all we need is camaraderie, fellowship, and, you know, peace and understanding. You can do more than you think you can. So many, you know, strange things have happened. So, you know, why not fight for peace? Yeah, I don't want to get crazy.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Socials.
My social on Instagram is robot.ronnie. You can also, my projects are Blue Talk Band
I was going to do
and
that part.
RB,
go ahead. No, because you got socials for all of them. You got socials for all of them.
An RB 5-man trio. My name is Ronnie Bullock. You can find me there on Facebook. If you still use that, you know, depending on what age groups watch this podcast.
Hey, man.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't have TikTok.
It's fun, man. I said, dog, just post the stuff that you just post on Instagram.
Yeah.
Just start posting. Like, that's what I started doing.
Yeah.
Just throw it up there. It's really, like, not even that deep.
Yeah, no, you're right. There are Instagram accounts for the music groups that I'm involved in. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of the same stuff, but I don't have a personal one or anything. I just haven't really merged over, you know.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's really just throwing up the video, calling it a day.
Yeah.
To be honest with
you. You're right.
But yeah, man. Thank you, Ronnie Bullock, for coming to the podcast. Y'all get his latest, Blue Talk's latest single, Steer Your Own Horse. Ronnie Bullock's 5-man trio's latest single, Crazy Taxi, featuring Caleb.
Yeah.
Human DJ. I've yet to meet him.
I've yet
to meet him, but he's dope.
Yeah.
You say you too? Like you haven't met him?
I haven't met him either.
Are you blind to me?
No. Like, so.
He's featured on the song.
Because Alex works with him.
Right. But you're saying you haven't met a feature who's on your own song?
That's sad.
That's crazy.
That's sad. Well, it's because Alex is so involved in the scene.
Right.
And he does another group with Caleb.
Right.
And, like, I know Caleb's a beast. He's so busy. That's a guy that's like, he's playing every day. Like he's playing somewhere right now. I guarantee that.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got that whole, he's got his own market.
He's doing everything.
He's got his own market.
Yeah.
Like he is he's a bad mother. But no, I have yet to meet him. So I think on Mondays, him and Alex get together, or maybe Sundays, and just whatever projects that Alex has going on, he's like, hey, play on this. And that it was an instance of that. Just like, hey, I've got this 5-man trio track. Will you play some trumpet on it?
That's crazy.
And just bodied it.
That's wild.
You know what I mean?
Hey, man. Did.
But yeah, I've yet to meet him.
You got to. I need to, too. Well, maybe we should try to do it at the same time.
We need to get a keyboard hang in.
Yeah. But, man, y'all check out his projects, man. It'll be linked in the description, all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning into another episode of the Major Keyz Podcast. Keep pressing on. We'll see y'all next time.